So I think we can put on the, or mount the motor for the X now. I think everything's clear. Yeah, we should be able to do that. Should I get this in and then we'll cut the video and go on to the easy stuff after this. All the hard stuff is done. So this wire will be facing this way. And just kind of hold it from its pulley, or the pulley. There's a nut in there, just a screw it to tighten it to the shaft. With the shaft, I use a metal filer, kind of give it half a moon shape, just to make sure it doesn't move at all. And from there you'll see the two holes. And just put the two screws in. Easy. Nothing hard about that. Oh. Give me 1 second. Alright guys, looking for that screw was not a success. Luckily I found another one that should be able to work here. Yep, and it works. The X is tight. Let me just turn this thing around to make sure everything's in view. Let's just put the belt into position here, just right over the pulley there. And the other side. Here. Told you my belt was too short. Okay, so that's good. Tighten that down with the This is bad practice. Shouldn't do that. Use the correct wrench or socket for it. Alright, everything looks good. You see the X moving there? X moving there. So it looks like this. The belt's right on the pulley. And from the other side, the belt is on that ball bearing. Alright, you know what, let's go ahead and do the extruder housing too. So what I have here, just the two end caps. This cap that goes on this end and this cap that goes on this end. I think you should be good to put that on. Also the corner end caps. This is actually an unfinished printed piece. For some reason, my other printer stopped printing, so I ran out of filament actually. So it's unfinished. Once I make the molds for it, it's going to be a lot better looking. It's going to be one piece. The feet is going to be all one piece. The bed, it's going to be less parts once I make the mold for it. For the, I call it the extruder housing, and plastic file is P-002. Okay. What we have in here, it's a bearing and a 5/16 rod, threaded rod. So I just cut it, I believe it's 10 millimeters. Just forced it in there, that way this thing could push against the filament. Alright. This is kind of a tricky one too. MK7 drive gear. Hope I don't need that. And just pick it up just in case I do need it. Since it's just right there. Okay. Let's do this. Goes like this. This. All the way through to the motor. The motor has these two holes here. All the way through. This one all the way through. This one's not necessary, but yeah, you could actually use it just to help this extruder housing, you know, press against the motor bracket for friction so it doesn't slide back and forth. This is probably going to take me a while, guys, because this back here is tricky. Let me take this heat sinker off from the motor. That doesn't look right. Man, you. Hopefully I had a flathead. Or a fillet. So the holes on the extruder housing is actually oval, so you should be able to adjust it going back and forth like this. Just push this in here. It's not working. There we go. The filament holes from the hot head. Is going to screw right in here. When the filament comes up this way, it'll feed through this tube directly to the hot end. I tap this, you don't need to tap it, just drill a smaller hole in the hose connector there itself, the threaded part. Now this is the difficult one. This one's already in. Put it in position there. Try to screw it. Hopefully I did it. Did I? Nope. Not bite. pinky against the nut there. It's good. Because the nut is against the housing of the motor, you don't really have to clamp it down or hold it down when you're tightening it. And then once you get your filament, whatever size filament you're using, 3mm or 1.75, you can just adjust this back and forth. Oh, it's too tight now, but it's going to be oval, so you should be able to move this back and forth. But you know what? That actually looks about right for my 3mm filament. This one is nothing. That's just a decorative one. Yeah, that looks about good. Just push this little hole here. And that should be it. The hardest part is over, which was the Z.